Hi, Jenna. Nice to meet you. I'm Bo's mom.
Hi, I'm Miss Wilkes. I'm Bo's teacher.
Okay. So, I saw there were some things on his report card that need a little bit of improvement.
Yes, we were mostly coming in to talk about the learning skills and work habits on his report card today.
Okay.
So those are basically just what we evaluate separately from his work, but they're still evaluated during the time of his work. So while he's working with groups, while he's working independently, and his organization skills around that. Like
Okay.
I'm sure you saw his marks on his report card.
Right. And how do you evaluate those? Like, I know there's not you can't really get a mark from those types of things. So how do you evaluate those?
Well, we evaluate them in order for the students to develop necessary skills in order to function in society and get along well with their peers and such. They learn these skills in order to move on and progress and be able to use these skills later on in society to solve conflict and to help get along with others and everyday situations.
Okay. All right. So are there? As I said, I noticed there are some areas that obviously need improvement, but I also noticed there are some areas that he's doing all right.
Yeah. So what I've used basically are direct observations of what I've caught him saying and what he's been doing both in class and out of class. Like he does a lot of sports, like in his cross country and stuff. And I also have work samples of like his homework and such in order that we've brought together in order to make these like his marks for the learning skills and work habits.
Okay. All right.
So he's great at collaboration, loves working with others,
I can imagine.
and
he's
great
chatty.
at solving conflicts among others and among his peers. He's always trying to calm down a crazy situation and always trying to help his peers who are fighting with one another or maybe in a disagreement too. He likes to be an upstander, not a bystander.
Okay. All right. That's good.
And he's great at sharing all of his ideas and contributing in group work.
Okay.
And he loves for his idea to be heard too, but also listening really respectfully to peers is what he's great at
good.
too.
Okay.
And he really enjoys challenges. He'll always take on a bonus question,
Oh, good.
and he'll always remain positive at most times about that, like even if he's struggling. Although he could ask for help a little bit more in those areas too, because he often won't ask for help, he'll just struggle through it.
Okay. So maybe a little bit.
Yeah, he could ask for help from his
Extra.
peers, see different strategies.
Okay. All right.
He does need many reminders with his independent work to stay on task.
I can imagine. He's quite chatty.
Both me and his peers do remind him lots, and he needs to make a little bit more appropriate decisions about where he's seating himself around the classroom because he chooses to sit with his friends a lot of the time, and I'll have to ask him, do you think that's an appropriate spot, Bo? And
Okay.
he will then recognize, no, it's not, and get up and move.
All right. So okay.
And he does shout out a little bit in class as opposed to raising his hand, but he will always take responsibility for it and say, I'm so sorry, and he does feel bad that he is calling out lots.
So he
but
realizes it a little bit.
yeah, and
Okay.
he realizes what he's doing, so that's a great next step that he could be moving into.
Okay. Perfect.
A lot of his work has been quite late recently, which is becoming a little bit of an issue, especially the independent work. The group work is more so coming in on time, but it's the independent stuff. He's not writing it in his agenda all the time, as it's a little disorganized along with his other personal belongings, like the inside of his desk and his winter clothes
I can imagine his room is quite a mess.
are a little astray, but with reminders he's always happy to go pick them up and he's never complaining about it.
Okay. Good.
And he does get distracted quite easily as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like last week he missed his cross country practice because he was just too busy socializing,
Okay.
but he does realize that he needs to set some goals, and he does like to set very achievable goals for himself.
Okay.
And he sets good goals that he knows in areas he knows he needs to work on, but he does need to focus on looking back upon his goals and
Revisiting them.
revisiting and checking up on instead of taking on a new goal.
Right. So completing what he started.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Completing what he's already started and doing that, but he could always he does always enjoy a challenge, and he shows great curiosity and interest in learning altogether.
Okay. Well, that's good.
And then basically for a next step for him, what we're going to start working on for a lot of students in the class is work plans.
Okay.
So for him, it could help him stay on track
Right.
and help him with the independent work and the organization,
Okay.
especially with his time management as
Right.
well.
Okay.
Because in class he's chatting a lot too.
Right. Not getting things done.
So at school we'll do this by having him basically write out for large assignments what he'd like to do each block and what he'd like to finish and accomplish, like his goal setting.
Okay.
But having him write it down makes him revisit it as well.
Okay.
And at the end of each block, he can put a big check mark or a smiley face sticker or what he'd like to basically show he's done it and he got done what he wanted to that block.
All right.
This can be continued on at home too.
Okay. Wow.
So you could do this with like chore charts or daily routines and stuff. So like if he has a chore chart for the week or something or chores he has to do, you could even get him to write out a chart.
Okay,
And
so
then you
really
could-
take responsibility for.
Yeah, and let him set time limits for himself too.
Okay.
Like if he thinks sweeping should take 30 minutes, then he should write 30 minutes sweeping before Wednesday if you want it done before Wednesday,
Okay.
per se this week.
All right, sounds good.
And then he can check it off and take the accountability himself. It will help him revisit each of his goals as well.
Mhm.
And it'll also help him take accountability for his action while monitoring his time.
Okay, all right, sounds good. I think you've pretty well covered what most of our questions were about. Yeah, so if I have any questions that I do think of, can I contact you?
Yeah, feel free to email me or you can access me through the Class Dojo as well on
Okay.
my direct link there. So you can send me a
Okay.
private message or you can email me at my OCDSB email anytime.
Okay, perfect, and that was in the newsletter I saw
Yes.
recently.
I
Okay,
put it at the beginning
perfect.
of the year.
All right, well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, bye. Bye.